I Wear My Sunglasses at Night. Written by Paul Aster Cohen. Narrated by Nicky. Chapter 11. Nicky, clad in her stolen sunglasses, tore through the pitch-black night, passing through sleepy towns, avoiding big cities along the way. Light poles and streetlights turned into trees that turned into distant plateaus as the road rushed under the tires over state lines and crossing welcoming billboards and monuments. Shecky and the dwarf slept. Nicky could hear their dreams. The dwarf slaughtering the fanged beasts left and right like Bruce Lee. Well, if Bruce Lee was a martial arts vampire hunter. Shecky just had flashbacks of being a pup with his family. Over and over again, the same images. Running, playing, chasing rodents in the fall leaves with his brothers and sisters. She tossed him a loving glance from over her shoulder as his paws made running motions in the air from the back seat. The dwarf's far-off voice grew silent, and she looked over at him. "Hey, girlie," he said, stretching. "Where we at?" "Not too far now." He waved his hand in front of her sunglasses.
"How can you even see in them things?"
he asked, looking out at the darkness surrounding them.
"You don't even have the lights on."
"It got too bright. I can see fine, don't worry. It's like day to me. Figured we could be a little more stealthy in complete darkness. Scared some douche in a Mustang earlier. Roared right past him in the dark. It was hilarious."
"A real barn burner, I bet,"
he said with a yawn and rubbed his eyes. The dwarf looked out the window.
"I was wondering."
"You were wondering what I was doing out at the motel in the first place, right?" He looked at her surprised, then remembered the mental trickery she mentioned at their room, and laughed. "What me and Derek were doing at the motel? You've been wondering that a lot."
"You weren't ever meant to get thrown into this mess is all."
Nicky adjusted her hands on the steering wheel. "Derek said he had a surprise for me. We had been talking about taking a road trip for a while, and then one day he marked the calendar and we made plans."
"What was the surprise?"
"I don't know. We didn't get that far. We drove all day, ended up at the motel, and then they took him."
"I'm sorry, love."
"Yeah, it's a bummer," she said, then laughed out loud at how silly it sounded. Maybe the surprise was getting attacked by vampires. Who knows?
"The whole deal is a shifty one for sure."
Nicky shifted in her seat. "He was the best, you know? Sure, he was sort of schlubby and for some reason managed to maintain his dad bod even after all those trips to the gym." She smiled, thinking about him. "But he put up with it all, the health food, the working out. Overall, he was a good dude. I love him a lot. His job was keeping him away a bunch, sometimes even weeks at a time, but he was always worth the wait. Just seeing him smile, never boring me with the details of his trip. When he finally asked to go on the road trip, it sounded like this was going to be it, the big day. I figured he was going to propose because he put up with all my crap and hadn't given up. So now it's my turn to not give up on him."
"What do you expect to find when we reach him?"
"Derek. I expect to find Derek. Maybe he's okay, maybe he's not. Maybe he's like me, who knows? The only thing that matters is I find him now." The dwarf nodded in silence and looked back out of the window into the black night.